All right then, boys. So here we are with the review for Fulham for the Premier League season in 25-26, and as you can see, they finished in 11th place, which is kind of average. Really, really is. It's kind of where you expect-ish Fulham to be, but and again, like I said, 1 point off European football, and boy howdy, they had the opportunity to get in there as well. Like they were really, really close at 1 point to Europe. I mean, even then, they're still really, really like knocking on the door, and it's pretty unfortunate in the end that they didn't get there. But as again another season where the opportunities presented itself and they haven't taken it for Europe. Marco Silva leaving at the end of the season, I believe, and it's going to be a weird one for Fulham coming into the next year. Let's get straight into it, boys. Right, with their form, starting the season with two draws, I want to make a point of this because this was not a common thing for Fulham this season. They did not draw a lot of games at all. Few wins here, but then a few losses. I mean, they drew the cup, but that don't count. And then you go here, win, loss, win, win, loss, loss, win, loss, win. It's like a draw here, a draw here, a draw here, a draw maybe one of these games. This 1-0 against Arsenal. If they draw that game, there's 2-1 against. If they draw that game, that's the points that makes a difference. Like it's so inconsistent, and it really fit the theme for the league this season. Two draws here, but then again, three losses. I mean, 2-1 at Everton, for example. If you look at this game, an own goal in the 83rd minute. If that doesn't go, or if this Dewsbury Hall chance doesn't go, and maybe that changes the outcome of their season ever so slightly. Look at this 3-2 against Man United here. 94th minute goal by Benjamin Sesko to make it 3-2. I mean, Fulham did well to rescue it back late, but I remember this game, this Sesko goal was very, very preventable. I know Ellen Road's a difficult place to go, I'll allow that one. 1-0 at home to West Ham. I know this is when they turned it around, but West Ham got relegated for fuck's sake. Like you have to do better than that. Even then, if you beat Forest in this game, like Forest did not have a good Premier League season in the slightest. If they beat Forest in that game, then that's 2 points, and they're basically in there. Like drawn in away at Brentford, who they're on the bad run themselves, but yeah, and then the end of the season drawing 1-1. Come on, man, you have got to do better than this against Wolves, who have been relegated since before the season started. Like it's poor. It is poor. Like they had good results in there. They won. This was a good win away at Sunderland, beating Spurs. Obviously, it's something you hope you'd be doing. Beating Chelsea, Brighton, in amongst this put a poor run of form here. A decent little FA Cup journey, I guess. But yeah, I mean, this game against City, I mean, if you score 5 goals and you don't win the game, I mean, 4 goals and you don't win the game, then what is going on there? Like, it's mental, mental stuff. Um, there's not really a giant killing in here, as far as I can see, as well. A lot of these teams, they have that game where they beat someone big. So, for example, they might have beat City in this game, and that would be the game that you look at and think, okay, they beat City. Brentford drew to City. That's why they finished ahead of them. Something along those lines. I can't really see that at the moment. Like it's kind of just they're beating the team. They're beating the teams beneath them and losing to the teams above them. Um, yeah, I mean that kind of thing that you lack is often the thing that can make it better for you. And make your results better at the end of the season. I mean, this run of form here isn't great. I mean, again, you just got to be beating these teams. You got to be beating West Ham at home. You've got to be beating Nottingham Forest. A nil, obviously 0-0 draw away at Brentford isn't bad, but they were uninspiring in this game, for what I remember. I mean, yeah, just nothing really standing out to you there. Um, yeah, not a great year overall for Fulham. Obviously, finishing in 11th isn't the worst thing in the world, but when you are fighting for Europe, you have to capitalise on that chance. Teams like Sunderland and Bournemouth have capitalised on that chance, and that is going to do them a world of good in the coming years. So Fulham to do that, to really push themselves towards or further up the Premier League table and staying there on a consistent basis, that would have massively helped, but that hasn't come to be. So it's going to be a 5 out of 10 for me on performance from Fulham. It is quite average. It is an average-ish Fulham season. You don't. This is kind of where you'd expect them to finish year in year out, but the prospect of finishing further for me is what really it's what they really needed to dial in on there. Moving on to transfers then, there isn't actually a lot to talk about here, and that for me is a bit of an issue. I like Kevin as a footballer. He has not been consistent enough this season to warrant a £40 million move. He's shown some signs of a good foot. I really like him. I think he's a really good player, but he hasn't got the end product they need. Oscar Bob, for me, disappointed. I was quite impressed with him at City. I thought he had a pretty decent first half of the season, but he come in for £31 million. It's a good signing, but again, not really inspiring me at all. Um, Chukwueze's the one I want to talk about. For me, he was their best signing. I mean, they've only signed Kusiasare didn't really do too much in. They've signed him on a permanent now. Lecomte as a backup goalkeeper. Out of these three, for me, Chukwueze was the most consistent and the best out of those three players. I really liked Chukwueze when he played. I think he impacted the games more off the bench. But I mean, I guess that isn't necessarily a bad thing. If you need the spark and you can reliably call upon him, that's good. To get him in from AC Milan on loan, I think it's a pretty big move. He's played at big clubs. He's played at is it Valencia? He was at or Villarreal, one of the two, and then he was at AC as well. He's been a pretty decent player for a while now. Nothing like mind blowing on the grand stage, but for a club like Fulham, this is a really exciting player and someone that I would remember for a while and enjoy their time. But anyway, this isn't enough. There needs to be more done here to build upon their move for Europe last season. Like they've got decent. They have reinforced up front there, but for me that doesn't take away from the fact that I don't think their midfield depth is very good. They moved Iwobi down further in the pitch, and he did play well. And I guess it was to accommodate players like Chukwueze and Kevin, but that isn't enough. I think you need another strong body in there. Lukic and Berger were all right. They weren't massively good. They could have been a lot better done there for me. They could have improved a lot more in that midfield. Let's look at outgoings now. Pereira and Traore Vinicius. Willian really are the main ones there. These are aging players in that forward position that would be taking minutes away from your Chukwueze, Easy Kevins. It's good to get these players out. They made a bit of money on selling Pereira. I'm not sure who this Marshall Godo guy is. I haven't heard of him before. I think I've heard of him, but I know nothing about him. Traore's a shit football player. He was a waste of space. It's good that they got rid of him. Carlos Vinicius didn't offer much. Willian old. So to get the players out like this is good, but you can't just have good outgoings. Like getting rid of Deadwood is fine, and it's what you want, but if you're not going to bring new players in anyway, then it's just a bit pointless, really, isn't it? You might as well keep these bodies around just in case. Um, yeah, it's too average for me. There's decent build work here and there's decent groundwork for the future. In 2 or 3 years' time, these two could be going for a lot of money, and Kusiasare could lead the line going forward on that right hand side up front, wherever he wishes to be played on across the three. But it didn't work for this season. Maybe a year of bedding into English football will be good for Kevin, and Bob can find his feet, have a whole pre-season with the Fulham boys, and really get himself fitted in there. But again, when you've spent €71 million on these two players, and then they're leaving a lot to be desired, in my opinion. I think it is a quite average-ish year, so it's going to be another 5 out of 10 for me on the transfers. There's good groundwork there. I cannot deny that there is good groundwork there. These three are young footballers that can grow. Chukwueze was good for what he needed to be, but not fantastic. Yeah, good promise, but they're not yet delivered on, I don't think. All right, prospects for next season, and the main talking point here is Alvaro Arbeloa. He's come in to be the new Fulham manager for next season. Hasn't impressed at Real Madrid so far, but with the environment in and around that club, I don't necessarily think that that's anything really to go off. He is a young gaffer. I do remember him playing football, and he's someone you can build off. If you get behind him and you properly give him a bit of backing, get him introducing his style of play to the team, get him kind of growing as a manager as the team grows around him. This could work. This could be a Bournemouth-esque and Donny Iriola signing. They've gone from someone average in Gary O'Neill, picking up Iriola, a young coach, a younger Spanish coach again like Arbeloa, and maybe there's something to build off there. The average age of this squad isn't the same, pardon me, as that Bournemouth team, so I'll address that in a second. But I think there is something to work off here with Arbeloa. There is all potential that it doesn't go well, but I think with Iriola, they started their first 9 games with losses, so it's important to stick by him for a year at least. Give him time to really get his fingers into this team. And if after that point you're starting to struggle, then maybe you look somewhere else. Moving on to this squad, it's average. Honestly, I look at this name and all these players are all right. You know, I'm not blown away by anyone here. Look at the average ages there. The age is just so high on all these players. You've got barely any young players in here. Luke Harris will go out on loan. You've got Josh King and Kusi Asare. Will he challenge for a senior spot? I don't know. That's kind of it in terms of your young players. Kevin, of course, and Bob, who have recently come in. But then you get to, and everyone else is average age to old. I'll start with down here, Leno and Lecomte. I mean, Leno isn't a bad goalkeeper. I think he's quite a good goalkeeper. To be performing the way as 34 is admirable, but he's not going to do that forever. You need to get someone in, someone younger, someone not necessarily young, but someone in their mid-20s that could be your goalkeeper for the next 10 years if no one comes in for them. Right backs here, Tete and Castagna. Castagna's not bad, but I'm not a big fan of Tete. They can do better there for me. I think you need to bring in a new right back. Centre halves, Bassi, Quensa, Anderson and Diop. I don't mind these three. I quite like Quensa and I quite like Bassi. I think Anderson hasn't performed as well as he did at Palace. And Diop, I don't think is that all that. If you let go of Diop, I reckon you could bring in a new centre back. But if you don't, then I don't necessarily think it's the end of the world there. You need a new midfielder. I mean, for me, Lukic and Berger are both okay. Iwobi is decent there, but you need someone else next to him. You need someone younger again. 28, 30, 29. I remember when he was such a good wonder kid on FIFA, Sander Berger. He was like the dog's bollocks. Um, and yeah, going forward, I think you're all right. Maybe a new striker, but I'm not. I kind of want to give Kusi Asare the benefit of the doubt for now, and we've seen the kind of purple patch form that Muniz can put in. So if I'm locking it indefinitely, I'd say new goalkeeper is a must. New right back is a must, and new midfielder is a must. If you want to, a new striker could be there any as well. But I think that's the kind of place that you need to look first of all. Jimenez has been replaced. He was probably their main outlet last season. Muniz didn't have a good year. Kusisari is a bit of an unknown quantity. I'm almost talking myself into saying yes to a new striker. I don't know how Arbeloa is going to play if he wants to run a two-man up top. But yeah, for me, you're focusing on in goal, you're focusing on your right back, and you're focusing on your DMs. For me, that's the main one. I'm going to give them a 5 for next season. I know it's pretty boring, just fives all around the board. I'm going to give them a 5 for next season. I think there is a bit of groundwork here. It is quite, yeah, you know. Like if I look at teams beneath them in the league, I look at Everton and Newcastle. I think they have a much better chance of getting into Europe next season than Fulham do. Look at the teams around them. I think someone like Brentford and Chelsea have better chances of staying. I think out of everyone, if anyone's going to drop a little bit, I think it would be Fulham. I'm not sure about Arbeloa as a gaffer, so I think it's going to be a safe 5 for now from me. Here we are. Here's how they fare in the table. They start in a podium position on performance. They are in 4th place on transfers and 4th place on prospects for next season. This gives them a 15 out of 30, comparable. Better than Newcastle, I think it's fair to say. Worse than Everton, even though Everton didn't finish as well. I think they've set themselves up better for success for next season, which is given by the prospects and the transfers there. So, yeah. That's kind of it really for me. I massively miscalculated that. I don't know how I've got to 6 plus 6 plus 5 equaling 19. It's fucking 17. What am I doing? I did think that looked high. Bloody hell, what a waste. What am I doing? But yeah, that is it from me. Excuse the voice. I don't know what's happened to it. Honestly, I really don't. It's not even a football thing. It's just I got this at work the other day and my voice just hasn't been very like normal. Slightly lost a little bit, but yeah, that'll be me done for today. I'm going to record quite a lot of these back to back, so you're going to see the exact same outfit for the next video, and I might be uploading more than once a day for a little bit just to see how it goes. But yeah, that'll be it from me, boys. Thank you very much, and see you in a little bit.